Welcome to Tuning Your Revenue Engine, Maximizing Cash Flow and Business Performance, brought to you by DE Incorporated. In this video, we will define the revenue engine, review the critical values of the revenue cycle, and show you how to use these values in strategic decision making. So what is the revenue engine? The revenue engine is comprised of four functions: marketing, which creates leads; sales, which generates contracts; delivery, which completes the work that was contracted for; and collections, which is where you get paid for the work. Now, what is the result of inefficiency of this cycle? Poor cash flow, which is the death of most small businesses. So what do you need to know to begin tuning your revenue engine? Well, we're going to work the revenue engine cycle backwards. So first you want to know what's your target. So what's your revenue goal for the year? Do you have a revenue goal? Where are you starting from? This will tell you how to and whether or not you can get to the end point that you've made. So how much work can you really handle in your current operation? How many sales does it take to create that amount of work? And how much marketing do you need to invest in order to find those sales? This will allow you to test your goal for realism and understand whether you can get there from now. Not knowing diverts your focus and increases risk, slowing your growth. Remember, you're going to work the cycle backwards. So let's start with the critical values of delivery. First, what's the average time it takes to deliver one unit of product or service in your company? Next, what's the average price that you charge per one unit? What's the total number of employees that you currently have operating? And what's the average percentage of their time that's spent on other functions? Knowing this information will be critical to complete the following calculations. Now let's look at some calculations that you'll do for your delivery. First, what's your maximum capacity? That is, what's the most work that you can put out with the resources that you currently have? This is important because next we're going to figure out, based on that, what your total potential revenue is. This is a very important number because it'll tell you whether or not your revenue goal is realistic or not. And finally, what will it cost you in order to add more capacity? You'll need to understand this in case you can't get to your goal based off of the current amount of capacity that you have in your operation. Next, let's take a look at sales to understand what it's going to take to get that work in the door. First, you need to know what the total number of proposals or quotes that you completed for a period of time. Next, how many of those proposals closed and became actual contracts. Next, you want to know what the average duration that it takes to close one of those deals and the amount of effort over that period of time that was actually put in to close the deal. Finally, the number of employees that are involved in selling will be important, and what the average percentage of their time that's spent selling. The reason we have this number is oftentimes small business owners don't understand the difference between selling and marketing, and they ask their salespeople to actually do their marketing for them as well. Finally, you're going to use these numbers to do some critical calculations for sales. And that is, what's your close percentage? Next, what's the average revenue that you get per sale? And finally, what's the cost to add more salespeople if you need to at some point in time? Next, we'll take a look at what it's going to take in marketing to get the leads in to make those closed deals. So first we need to know the average number of leads that you collect during that period per time. The number of proposals or quotes that get completed off of that, and then how much time per week is spent marketing or networking, and the total number of employees involved in the marketing process. Again, remember, marketing is different than sales. You need to make sure you understand the difference so you've got the right people working on the right stuff. The calculations for marketing are marketing effectiveness. This is the number of leads to the number of proposals that you get, and understanding how many leads actually turn into proposals. Next is lead efficiency. That is, how much time do you spend in order to generate a lead? And finally, what's the average cost per lead? So how much money and time And what's that time cost you do you spend on each lead that you generate? This is going to be important so that you know what you may have to invest in order to generate the number of sales that you need in order to reach your goal. Now that all the calculations are done, let's work the process backwards, just like we said, and we're going to use the revenue engine decision tree to do that. So first, can you meet the revenue goal? Look at the total revenue that you've that your total potential revenue, and compare it to what your goal is. If you can't get there from there, then you're going to need to understand where's the choke point at. In other words, what is the contributing factor that won't allow you to get there? Is it in delivery? Is it in sales? It is in marketing? Based on finding out what the problem or where the problem lies, you can now begin to focus your resources on fixing the problem. So you can apply the right resources to the right things to get the favorable results that you want. You'll also know, based off of these calculations, what it'll cost you in order to meet that goal. So now you can look at what are your financial goals that you need to put into your business plan to make sure that you achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. And finally, do you have the right objectives set to achieve that success? What changes do you have to make in order to meet that goal? So what are your next steps? First, find the numbers that you don't already have. Complete the success planning worksheet that's part of this series. If you don't have one, contact DE Inc. We'll be happy to get you one out free of charge. Use the revenue engine decision tree then to make and determine what your choke points are, and prioritize the appropriate objectives for your business plan based on that. Finally, work your plan and success is yours. Thank you for your interest in the Tuning Your Revenue Engine series. We offer a free 1-hour consultation to explore how to tune the revenue engine in your business. Just call us at the following number or email. For other available small business growth tools, you can visit our website at www.dinoelitis.com. Thank you again for your interest in tuning your revenue engine.